Born on September 23, 1930, in Albany, Georgia, Ray Charles Robinson entered a world riddled with hardship. From the moment his mother, Aretha, carried him back to her rural home in Greenville, Florida, after fleeing a traumatic assault by his father, Ray's life was marked by pain, resilience, and an extraordinary talent that would one day echo across genres and generations. His earliest years were set against the backdrop of the segregated South. The dirt roads of Greenville, the wooden shacks, and the pungent scent of sawdust from local mills formed the atmosphere in which he grew up. Despite poverty and racial tension, the Robinson household clung to pride, resourcefulness, and faith. At just 5 years old, Ray witnessed the drowning death of his younger brother George, a moment that never left him. Soon after, glaucoma began to steal his sight, reducing the world around him to a sea of shadows. By 7, he was completely blind. Yet in that darkness, another kind of vision awakened. Music became his anchor. At Wiley Pittman's Red Wing Cafe, he first touched a piano. The boogie-woogie style Pittman played lit a fire in the boy. Pittman not only taught Ray the rudiments of piano, but also opened his home to the struggling family. Charles would later recall the kindness and generosity shown during these formative years as pivotal in shaping his character. Aretha, though poor and often ill, refused to let her son surrender to circumstance. She enrolled him in the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine. Augustine, where he learned classical music, Braille transcription, and mastered a variety of instruments, including the piano, clarinet, and saxophone. His training included composers such as Beethoven and Chopin, but at night he immersed himself in gospel and blues broadcast from faraway stations. The death of his mother in 1945 devastated him. She had been his only steady source of love and guidance. At 15, alone and determined, he set out to make a living through music. The Chitlin Circuit, an informal network of venues across the South that catered to black performers, became his proving ground. He traveled through Florida, sleeping on floors, going hungry, performing wherever he could. His early sound was heavily modeled on Nat King Cole, which kept him employed but left him yearning to express something of his own. In 1948, Charles moved to Seattle, a city then teeming with jazz and a vibrant African-American community. There he formed the McSon Trio and met a young Quincy Jones, beginning a lifelong friendship. By 1949, the group's debut single Confession Blues reached number 2 on the R&B charts, signaling the arrival of a new talent. To avoid confusion with boxing champion Sugar Ray Robinson, he shortened his name to Ray Charles. The name would soon become synonymous with revolution in sound. The following years saw a flurry of recordings and relentless touring. He relocated to Los Angeles and signed with Swing Time Records. Songs like Baby Let Me Hold Your Hand gained moderate traction, but Charles was hungry for a deeper connection with audiences. In 1952, he joined Atlantic Records for a mere $2,500. It was there that he truly came into his own. No longer content to emulate, he infused rhythm and blues with the raw intensity of gospel, a combination previously unheard of in secular music. His 1954 hit I Got a Woman signaled a sea change. Blending sacred cadence with blues lyricism, he created a style that would later be named soul. I Got a Woman was daring. It drew ire from religious critics and praise from those mesmerized by its originality. Soon followed a cascade of hits. This Little Girl of Mine, Drown in My Own Tears, and Hallelujah I Love Her So, each pushing boundaries and captivating audiences across racial divides. Charles's shows were electric, with the Raylettes, his backup singers, trading lines in call and response fashion, and his rhythmic piano driving each performance. He captivated even the most skeptical audiences. He played Carnegie Hall, the Newport Jazz Festival, and began crossing over to mainstream audiences. In 1959, he released What Did I Say?, a track born from onstage improvisation. Despite resistance from radio stations due to its sexually suggestive energy, it climbed to number 6 on the pop charts. The record marked the culmination of his Atlantic years, a period during which he redefined American music. At the peak of his Atlantic success, Charles signed a groundbreaking deal with ABC Paramount Records. The contract granted him artistic control, an unheard-of concession for a black artist at the time. His first single, under ABC, was Georgia on My Mind. Though written decades earlier by Hoagy Carmichael, it became, in Charles's hands, a passionate homage to the South he once fled. The recording earned him 4 Grammy Awards and was later designated the official state song of Georgia. What followed was his most commercially successful period. He released Hit the Road Jack, Unchain My Heart, and Busted, all of which became chart toppers. But perhaps most daring was his 1962 album Modern Sounds in country and western music. It married country ballads with orchestral arrangements and gospel phrasing. The album sold millions, shattered racial and genre-based expectations, and laid the groundwork for the inclusion of African-American artists in country music. Even as he soared professionally, personal battles loomed. Charles had been struggling with heroin addiction since his teenage years. In 1964, he was arrested for possession and checked himself into a rehabilitation clinic. With sheer will, he overcame his dependency and never relapsed. Throughout the 1960s, he expanded his sound further, working with orchestras, experimenting with jazz arrangements, and appearing on television and in film. His 1967 ballad Here We Go Again once again confirmed his unmatched ability to deliver heartfelt emotion with effortless phrasing. As musical trends shifted in the 1970s, Charles found himself less present on the charts, but remained a commanding live performer. His 1972 album, A Message from the People, reflected his social consciousness, with renditions of America the Beautiful that echoed through civil rights marches and protest rallies. In the years that followed, Charles showed an enduring love for country music. His duets with Willie Nelson, especially Seven Spanish Angels, found a home on the country charts. In 1984, his collaborative album, Friendship, brought him together with artists like Johnny Cash, Ricky Skaggs, and George Jones, winning over a new generation of listeners. Television appearances kept his profile high. He brought humor and charm to commercials, famously declaring, "You got the right one, baby," for Pepsi. His cameo in the Blues Brothers in 1980 delighted audiences and reaffirmed his charisma beyond music. Charles married twice and had 12 children with various partners. His personal life was complex, filled with lawsuits, reconciliations, and moments of tenderness. Despite his blindness, he drove a car in Death Valley for commercial, an experience he later described as exhilarating. He also had a passion for chess and could often be found playing during recording breaks. As he aged, his energy remained unshaken. In the 1990s and early 2000s, he performed at the White House, received honorary degrees, and participated in benefit concerts. His collaborations with artists like Billy Joel, Chaka Khan, and Norah Jones proved he could adapt to any era without compromising his voice. By 2003, declining health forced him to cancel his first tour in over 50 years. Diagnosed with liver disease, he retreated from public life. Yet even then, he continued to work on what would become his final album. Genius Loves Company, released posthumously in 2004, was a tapestry of duets with artists including Elton John, Bonnie Raitt, Van Morrison, and B.B. King. The album won 8 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year and Record of the Year for Here We Go Again with Norah Jones. It was his swan song, a masterclass in musical collaboration and a final affirmation of his unmatched artistry. Ray Charles passed away on June 10, 2004, at his Beverly Hills home, surrounded by family. He was 73. The news reverberated through every corner of the world. More than 1,500 people attended his funeral. Stevie Wonder, Willie Nelson, and B.B. King performed heartfelt tributes. Quincy Jones, his lifelong friend, mourned deeply, saying, "The world has lost a giant." Later that year, the film Ray debuted, with Jamie Foxx portraying the musician in a role that won the Academy Award for Best Actor. The movie reignited public interest in Charles's life and catalog, ensuring his contributions would not fade. Ray Charles revolutionized what it meant to be an artist in America. He tore down walls built by genre, color, and circumstance. His voice was gravel and silk. His hands, though blind, moved across the piano keys with precision and passion. His life, full of tragedy and triumph, mirrored the very music he made, unfiltered, deeply human, and unapologetically alive. He leaves behind 12 children, over 24 grandchildren, and a global audience who continue to find solace, energy, and truth in his recordings. His songs remain in constant rotation, on radios, in films, and in the hearts of those who believe that real music doesn't need to be polished to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. Ray Charles didn't chase trends. He made them. He didn't ask permission. He demanded to be heard. And in doing so, he altered the very sound of the 20th century.